Wonderful. Thank you. Good morning. This meeting of the Agricultural Labor Relations Board is called to order. I will first go through the roll. Board Member Broad.
Here.
Board Member Flores.
Present.
Thank you. Board Member Hall.
Present.
Good to see you, Board Member Hall. Board Member Lightstone.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, also present from our staff for today's meeting is our Executive Secretary, Santiago Avila Gomez, who's providing technical support. We do have two meeting locations today here at our Sacramento headquarters and also in Los Angeles, where Board Member Flores and Hall are located. First, we'll have the open session portion of our meeting, and then prior to going into our closed session, there will be an opportunity for the public to comment. Members of the public who have contacted the board either by email or phone and asked to be placed in the public comment queue will be called on in the order received. If you did not previously contact the board and you do wish to make a public comment, you may still do so in one of several ways. You can make a request in the Zoom chat function or by raising hand in the Zoom feature, or you can email Santiago Avila Gomez to be placed in the queue for public comment. Please note, we ask that you use the chat feature only to indicate that you wish to make a comment. Substantive comments in the chat will not be made part of the public record. We ask that you also provide your name and organization if applicable. This information will become a part of the official record of today's proceedings. If you wish to speak more than once, please alert us and we'll have your name placed back in the queue. And if you're having technical difficulties when you are called up, please reach out to us via the Zoom chat function or email, and we will come back to you. And I believe I neglected to identify that we do have an interpreter here today. Is that right, Santiago?
That is correct.
Okay, and so for those of you, if you're having trouble hearing me, please go down, even if you can hear me now, go to the language button on the bottom of Zoom and choose either English or Spanish, and that will ensure that you have optimal audio quality throughout the meeting. So please go ahead and do that. And I will also slow down. I realize I was going pretty quick.
I will go ahead and translate that because our interpreter is in Spanish channel. So,
Okay.
Por favor, gracias y bienvenidos todos miembros del público que han venido a estar con nosotros hoy. Por favor, elijan su idioma. En la pantalla mero abajo hay un aviso donde se puede prender la interpretación. Por favor, elija su idioma, sea inglés o sea español, para que pueda escuchar nuestro intérprete. Gracias.
Thank you. We do have limited capabilities for managing the public comment during the meeting and during the public comment periods. So we're asking everyone who is not speaking to place their phones or Zoom on mute and wait to unmute until you are called to speak. You can also see these instructions on our agenda, which is posted online at alrb.ca.gov, which is located on the ALRB homepage under News and Information. A few housekeeping matters. Please note we do not have a report for item 5, the litigation report, or item 7, the Division of Administrative Services report. Proceeding to our first agenda item, approval of the public meeting minutes from May 18th, 2022. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Board Member Broad, can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Board Member Lightstone. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. My chair report today will be very brief, and I will just say something that's been weighing heavily on my heart and the heart of many of us, and I was reminded about today in a million different ways. I just want to acknowledge the tragedy that occurred in Uvalde last week, where 21 people were tragically killed unnecessarily, including 2 teachers and 19 children. I think it's important to acknowledge this, acknowledge the impact it has on all of our lives, regardless of the fact that we didn't have the joy of knowing those individuals and that we may not be in that community. It is something that is an epidemic in our society, and it really impacts us and those families. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that. Thank the governor and the legislative leadership for the actions that they have and are continuing to take to address this crisis, and just have a moment of silence and recognition for those individuals. Thank you very much. With that, I will turn it to our executive officer, Santiago Avila Gomez, for the executive officer's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Hasid. Good morning, and members of the board. This is a short report that's available on our website for anyone that wishes to download it. It's available at our meetings tab. This reports activity having occurred since the last public board meeting, which was just 2 weeks ago. So I'll note at the commencement that since that date, there have been no election activity, no hearings held, and no ALJ or board decisions issued. However, there has been a consolidated complaint where the regional director determined that 2 cases were eligible for consolidation, and that is Lily's Green Garden, Inc., case numbers 2020 CE 025 SAL and 2020 CE 037 SAL involving cannabis in San Luis Obispo County. A different matter, Benjamin Wrights and Stephen Wrights individually and DBA Wrights Ranches, do business as Wrights Ranches, has settled. The parties are preparing a formal bilateral settlement agreement for submission to the board. The board issued 1 administrative order, and United Farm Workers of America, that was ALRB Admin Order 2022-02, and it denied intervener Gerwin Farming Inc.'s request for appellate costs. That admin order is also found on our website. And finally, the pending matters before the board, 2, 1 involving an election, Sonoma Cho LLC doing business as Floraterra. The exceptions to the ALJ's decision were due yesterday. We did not receive any e-filed exceptions. There may be exceptions in the mail. Second matter pending before the board is Center Grove Farms, and that most recently had Amici and party briefs filed on May 27th pursuant to the board's admin order 2022-01 requesting supplemental briefing regarding misclassification employees. At this point, parties may file responsive briefs on June 13th. That concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions that the board may have. We may have lost sound from the
thank you. Yes, I realized I had muted. Okay, thank you. There are no questions here. Thank you, Santiago, for that report. Next is agenda item number 6, which is the General Counsel's report with General Counsel Julie Montgomery.
Good morning, Chair Hasid, board members. Good to see everybody. So I have a few settlements to report that we've achieved since the last board meeting 2 weeks ago. We settled a case for strawberry workers in Ventura County who were working with Saticoy Berry Farms, who alleged that this company was retaliating and discriminating against the worker for and not rehiring him for the next season because he engaged in protected activity by speaking up on behalf of himself and others about work conditions, and also because he filed an unfair labor practice charge with the ALRB previously. And we entered into a pre-complaint settlement with the employer, and they agreed to compensate the charging party for his lost wages of $5,000, in addition to $1,000 front pay in lieu of reinstatement. And of course, we got the usual remedies of reading, noticing, posting. We also achieved, our Salinas region achieved several settlements involving Ryder Brothers, also a strawberry grower in Ventura County. One worker filed a charge claiming that they were retaliated against because they complained about a coworker's harassment, and also that they were not credited and paid for all their boxes completed. And in that case, we settled for, again, a pre-complaint settlement for back wages in the amount of $452 and a 1-hour supervisor training. And another worker for the same company in Ryder filed a charge that They were retaliated against for complaining about the manner their row boss and supervisor treated them and the way the company applied policies regarding absences to workers unequally, and that they also complained about treatment by human resources personnel. We also settled that case for the standard reading, posting, noticing remedies, a 1-hour supervisor training, and compensation of lost wages for the worker affected in the amount of $740. And of course, the amount of lost wages is calculated based on what they actually lost as a result of the alleged unfair labor practice. So that's why it varies in each case, if anybody's wondering about that. And then finally, the last, let's see, oh, again, yeah, Ryderberries. The last Ryderberries case involved a worker who was complaining about missing boxes again and not being paid for all their work completed. And again, we received back wages for $1,482, $1,000 front pay, and a 1-hour supervisor training, and the usual standard remedies. And then finally, our Salinas office also, or Salinas region also achieved a settlement involving West Coast Berry Farms, another strawberry operation in Ventura County, in which a worker claimed they were retaliated and discriminated against, as well, in addition to other coworkers, for complaining about changing working conditions. Oh, I'm sorry, they were retaliated against by allegedly having their working conditions changed, scrutinizing their work more closely, being denied personal days off, and not offering reinstatement after they engaged in the protected activity. And we received $3,800 in back pay, and in addition to the standard remedies. So those are the settlements in the last couple of weeks. We've also been busy with a good number of outreach activities, and Daniela Ramirez, who's our outreach manager coordinator, organized together with the labor commissioner just a media conference and caravan in the Ventura County area. And Jessica Arciniega, our regional director for the Salinas region, spoke at that media conference on Wednesday, May 25th. And our staff also participated in the caravan, where there's a vehicle that the labor commissioner rents. It has a marquee on it, drives around the fields with messages in multiple languages to workers about their rights. And our staff followed along with the caravan, and it stopped at various points, and we were able to distribute print materials and speak with workers along the way, as well as or different areas, like they went to a downtown farmers market, for example, and tabled there. And then our staff also participated in a meeting that was convened by the nonprofit organization MyCop and Santa Paula, and our staff gave a short presentation and gave information and tabled at that event. And then also on Friday, May 27th, we also did outreach at a mobile vaccine clinic in that same area, which is part of the caravan activities. On Thursday, May 26th, we also did a interview on Radio Indígena together with some workers about the ALRB, what we do, what workers' rights are under the act that we enforce. And then finally, on Sunday, May 29th, just this last weekend, we had one of our attorneys out of our Visalia office conduct a training presentation to a group of farm workers and community members that are part of a comité or committee that the CRLA Fresno office convenes. And that presentation had interpretation into Tlapaneco, which is an indigenous language. And so we were able to provide that presentation in 2 languages. And so that's just a recap of our outreach activities and a few settlements. in the last 2 weeks. We've been busy at work, and I just want to thank our staff. We have some staff here present from the General Counsel program, and this is actually the first time we've all been together for more than 2 years, I would say, all of us in this room. So it's kind of exciting. We have our Deputy General Counsel, Francesca Herrera, is here. Our Salinas Regional Director, Jessica Arciniega, and our newly appointed Visalia Regional Director, who introduced himself 2 weeks ago at this meeting, Blas Gutierrez. So welcome to everybody. Thank you.
Wonderful to have all the staff here. Before opening it up to my other colleagues, I did just want to know, I did note the West Coast Ferry, or the settlement in the West Coast Ferry case was very rapid from charge to settlement. It was just about 90 days. And so I just want to commend the staff for the speed of that resolution. I realize it sounds like the parties were amenable, which is always good too, but really want to commend the hard work of our staff. I think that's so important. So just want to acknowledge that. And then also the fact that on a Memorial Day holiday weekend, we had staff providing a training, and we were able to do that in multiple languages, including some Indigenous languages. So just want to thank the staff for that too. That's really, really great. I love hearing those examples, and really appreciate staff taking the time on a weekend. I know time is valuable, and so really, really appreciate that. Do any of my colleagues have any comments or questions? Member Flores.
Hi, thank you. No, I just wanted to, I had the privilege of joining the General Counsel staff on the caravan last week. And I just wanted to say tremendous effort on behalf of the General Counsel staff, and really impressed with their standing in the community and the work that they're doing to create relationships and partnerships with community-based organizations. So just overall, congratulations on a successful event, and I was so happy to be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Flores. Any other comments or questions? Okay. As noted, we do not have a report for item number 7, the administrative services report. So we will go to item number 8, which is the legislative report with our Chief Board Counsel, Todd Ratchin. Todd.
Hi, thank you. And I think we went over the agenda item 5, litigation, but no harm, no foul, because there's no litigation update anyways, but just wanted to raise that for agenda purposes. Legislation, not much to report on since the last meeting. Assembly Bill 2183 was approved in the Senate, or in the Assembly last week, and is now in the Senate pending committee assignment. And there's a report that I prepared that's available on the website.
Thank you, Todd. Next is item number 9, which is the regulations report, and I don't believe we have an update at this time. So moving on to agenda item number 10 is public comment. Please be advised that the board is unable to adjudicate, comment, or resolve any pending case matters before the board. I will ask our executive secretary, Santiago Villagomez, to first go through the queue and then open it up for others who wish to comment. If you're having technical difficulties or we miss your turn, we will work to come back to you. Please remember to be on mute unless you are speaking. If you require translation, please advise us. Santiago, do we have anyone in the queue?
There's no one in the queue. At this time, I'll ask anyone in the audience to indicate that they wish to make public comment by either raising their hands in the Zoom feature or using the chat box. It does not appear that anyone is wishing to make public comment at this time.
Okay. All right. Well, we will now gavel into closed session, and then we will come back for announcements and adjournment when closed session ends. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Now we are now recording, and I'll just let Laura in. It appears everyone is in. Hold on. Actually, Isadora and Cynthia are joining. We are recording at this point as a reminder.
Okay, thank you, Santiago. The board has concluded its closed session. Our final agenda item is agenda item number 11, announcements. We have a regional directors meeting at 2 p.m. today. Please look at our homepage for the regional director announcement, meeting notice, excuse me, and it will have the Zoom information to dial back in at 2. And our next scheduled public board meeting is for Wednesday, June 15th. And with that, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.